Welcome to Silicon Valley Nonprofits, a service of KMVT Community Media. I'm Bev Lenahan, your host. Our guest today is Jerry Liu, Vice President of the Cupertino Library Foundation. Jerry, thanks so much for being here today. It's a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you, Bev. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about and not much time, so let's get into it. The Library Foundation for Cupertino is certainly one of its greatest assets. So tell me a little bit about it. What's its mission and how is it organized? Tell us.
Sure, I'd be glad to do that. So first, so the Cupertino Library Foundation is a separate entity than the Cupertino Library. Many people get us confused. So the Cupertino Library is a public service offered by the Santa Clara County government. The Cupertino Library Foundation is actually a private nonprofit that's governed by a board of volunteers, guided by an advisory board of community leaders, right? And we were chartered in 1994 to raise funds and support programs for the Cupertino Library. So we've served the community for over 20 years. And in that time, we've raised over $3.5 million for library programs.
Wow. That's exciting to think about. And I would imagine there can easily be confusion by the residents about the difference between the library and a foundation. I think as people get wiser about fundraising these days, they appreciate how they can have a tax benefit from also making things easier for a community.
Right.
So the Library Foundation is certainly one way to do that. Yes. So what are they committed to, and how does the foundation go about that?
Sure. So so I think Cupertino is a community that really understands the value of innovation, learning, and personal growth, right? And so at the foundation, we support these objectives. Our strategic objectives for the foundation are to support lifelong learning and improve the quality of life in Cupertino. And we do that with two main approaches, in my mind. The first is we sponsor a variety of different educational and entertainment programs. So for instance, we currently are sponsoring a set of science programs for middle school students called STEAM Leads in collaboration with the Cupertino Library. In the past, we have this ongoing series called Fusion, Science, Art, and Technology. It's an educational speaker series to engage we bring in experts in these new emerging topics in science and arts, and they come in and talk to the residents about what's going on in these new areas. We also have, over on the arts side, the entertainment side, programs. Let's see, a popular one is what we call the Fall Performing Arts Series, where we bring in these local groups to come in and they put on these wonderful music and dance performances. And another one would be a film series over at Blue Light Cinema, right? So we have a set of these programs. Another way that we meet our objectives, we recognize that a community is a big part of improving the quality of life.
Sure.
And so we partner with a number of local groups to serve the community. So for instance, in the past, we've worked with the Cupertino Rotary in renovating the teen room at the library. Currently, we have a collaboration with Blue Light Cinema to basically be able to host film and performance events where we need a lot of seating. And then we're actually currently working on a partnership with Silicon Valley Creates to tap into their expertise on creativity and run a digital storytelling workshop for our teens. So I would say that the impact of our foundation on the community really comes from the fact that we support and share these community values through our activities.
Tell us how people can help. Tell us how they can help.
Well, I would ask them to visit our website, CupertinoLibraryFoundation.org. We have a place where people can contact us with their interests. We're always looking for volunteers. Of course, we're looking for donors. And if folks have the time, we're also always looking for folks to serve on our board of directors to help us run these activities.
Well, thank you for that, and good fortune in all you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bev.
Welcome to Silicon Valley Nonprofits, a service of KMVT Community Media. I'm Bev Lenahan, your host. Our guest today is Jerry Liu, Vice President of the Cupertino Library Foundation. Thanks for being here today, Jerry.
Well, thanks for the opportunity, Bev.
You're most welcome. Well, I know on a lot of parents' minds today is California education. And we want to talk just briefly today about how the Library Foundation in Cupertino is working to complement what's going on in the classroom. So tell us about some of the projects you're working on to help that partnership.
Sure, I'd be glad to do that, Bev. So one of the things that I think people know about Cupertino is the quality of our schools. And that's really because there's a great deal of appreciation and energy, I think, from our residents on the quality of student education. Now, we feel that effective learning really extends beyond the classroom. Right? And so the Cupertino Library Foundation supports the youths in our community by providing the opportunity for them to supplement and also practice what they're learning in the classroom. So let me give you a couple of examples. Right, so one of our most well-known events is something we affectionately call S4, a Super Summer Science Search. And it's a competition where the students work in teams during the summer to come up with a solution to a problem based on library research, right? And in doing this contest, they need to exercise analytical skills to think about the research they're doing, exercise their creativity on coming up with a solution, and also collaboration and working with teammates. And these are all skills that are emphasized in the Common Core standards that we have today.
And important in their work world. For their career, it's going to be very important.
Exactly. So let me tell you a story. So one of our contestants a couple of years ago, right? So before he started doing S4, he wasn't sure he wanted to do. He entered our contest, and as part of the contest, he did research on medical solutions, sort of a medical device. Did a fabulous job. He won the contest that year. And in fact, he entered again the year after. He won the contest again the year after that.
Really?
It's really remarkable. And we spoke to his mother, and she tells us that because of S4, whereas before he wasn't sure what he wanted to do, now he feels like he's found his passion for lifelong, what he wants to do with his life, which is come up with useful medical devices for folks.
Isn't that amazing? Oh my goodness.
It is really remarkable, yes. And another contest that we've done is I want to talk to you about is something called CU Hacks. Okay.
CU Hacks.
CU Hacks,
okay.
Right? CU from Cupertino. And it's an overnight hackathon for teens, right? And so the idea here is, a lot of folks talk about coding. President Obama has talked about the importance for the kids to learn how to write apps and so forth. But for many teens, it's still sort of a daunting task. So we wanted to do something to introduce people to the fun and joy of coding. So we worked with our librarians to keep the library open all night. We had the teens come in at about 6 p.m. We'd fed them, and then we let them go and work on their projects. And so
I think we have a short video, don't we, that tells about that event?
That's what we do. We have basically the pitch video made by one of the teams. And so if we could show that, please.
Sure.
In today's competitive world, many teenagers find a passion in composing music, many of whom want to pursue this passion as their main career.
However, many people don't know where to start in the vast music industry.
Our music synthesizing app, Synthesis, fills this hole and acts as a stepping stone for teenagers to pursue their passion and work in the music industry. When designing Synthesis, we wanted to start off with a minimalistic design, one that would not only be easy to use but also intuitive. Our target market for this application is the average Cupertino teenager, and hence, we did not want to design our app with dense menus and numerous settings. Instead, we wanted the user to simply sing or play the instrument by tapping the record button on the app. Through our algorithm, we match the inputted audio to a mix of background music, looking for information such as rate, pitch, frequencies, and beat. An AI or artificial intelligence algorithm was developed to choose the accompanying instruments necessary to support the song. If the user is satisfied with their creation, they can share or save it locally on their phone or computer. The sharing process uploads the creation to a cloud that is managed by a domain in our name. Users can share them to each other to receive help from other synthesizers or people with a Synthesis account.
That's pretty powerful. What a powerful program, CU Hacks. We want to thank you for being here. And how can people, parents and students, get involved with the Library Foundation?
Well, we like for them to come to our website, CupertinoLibraryFoundation.org, and they can find a lot more information, including information on how they can get engaged and help out with the programs.
Very good. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Beth.
Welcome to Silicon Valley Nonprofits, a service of KMVT Community Media. I'm Bev Lenahan, your host, and our guest today is Jerry Liu, Vice President of the Cupertino Library Foundation. Thank you for coming today, Jerry. Nice to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me here, Beth.
Well, we have a very short time, and I know there's lots to talk about. There are many programs that are available to the community residents of Cupertino as a result of all of the good work that the Community Library Foundation does. Tell us about a few of those this afternoon.
Well, I'd be glad to, and thanks for the kind words, Bev. So Cupertino is a very diverse community. We have longtime residents. We have people who are new to the neighborhood, in some cases new to the country, and so there's a wide variety of interests. And so I thought what I do today is just talk about some of my own personal favorites. The first I like to talk about is what we call our Fall Performing Arts Series. And so this is where we basically host local groups to make music and dance performances. You see here there's a list of these different groups, and so these are very, I think, attractive for folks who enjoy live performance, enjoy dance, and enjoy the arts, really. Okay. The next one I like to talk about is something we call fusion, art, science, technology. And here this is for folks that are perhaps a little bit more interested in science. We live here in Silicon Valley. A lot of folks are interested in what's happening. What's the latest going on in not just science and technology, but also the arts.
And how they're integrating. They're being so much more integrated today.
Exactly, exactly. It's really looking at that integrated whole. And so what we do is we host, we basically bring in speakers in these different topics to come in and talk to the residents about what's the latest, what's been happening there. In these different fields, such as 3D printing, industrial design. We've had a speaker telling us just about what's the arts and cultural ecosystem in Silicon Valley is like. All right. Next one I love to talk about is about Star Trek. So the last several years, we've been fortunate to be able to host actors and writers from the Star Trek series to come in and basically share with us about their memories, but really looking forward to the technology and how Star Trek's affected the technology today. Another one I like to talk about is the Globe Art Shakespeare, and this is Shakespeare films, and this is in collaboration with Blue Light Cinemas and Shakespeare's Globe.
Partnerships, I love it.
It is a partnership. And the idea here is we take these theatrical productions that have been captured on film and bring them to Cupertino so our residents can enjoy them without having to go off to Broadway to see these plays.
And no charge, right?
At no charge. These always sell out. These are among one of our most popular
That's
topics.
Wonderful. Great.
And then the last one I'd just like to touch on is CU Hacks. And it's an overnight hackathon for teenagers. In fact, where we did that is the very first time that there's been a overnight hackathon for teens in public libraries. And in 12 hours, we asked them to come up with a solution to a problem, code it up, and make a 1-minute pitch video.
Oh my.
And if you go on our website, you'll see wonderful examples of what these teens are able to do.
I hope they had lots of sugar.
And yes, and sugar and soda and cookies, yes. So, and so these are just some of the examples to give you a sense of the breadth of the different programs that we offer.
Well, I know the funding has to happen too to make these free programs available to all of the community. So how can people help?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Bev. So I'd like to invite folks to our website, CupertinoLibraryFoundation.org, where they can find information about not just the programs, but how they can volunteer, how they can contribute to make these programs possible.
Wonderful. Well, I'm sure people will want to help because these are invaluable services for young and old alike. Thank you, Jerry, for being here today.
Thank you very much, Beth.